There was a village where despair had set up camp. The people were hardworking, but their luck had abandoned them. In this village lived Sumaira, whose husband had left in search of work, but there had been no news of him for months. Every passing day was crushing her hope. But the old sage who had lost everything in life possessed a simple formula that could turn fate around in just 1 week. It was no magic. It was an ancient method of changing one's thought process. Are you also tired of daily struggles? Just one simple mental exercise that not only reunited Sumaira with her husband, but also ended her poverty. If you want to know that one habit that changed her entire life, this 5-minute story is for you. Skipping it could be your biggest mistake. Once upon a time, there lived an old man in a small village. He was very old, with hair as white as silver and a face that told a story of gentleness in its wrinkles. But his eyes, they were very bright and full of compassion. Everyone in the village loved him because he was always happy, even when life was difficult. He lived alone in his small house near a big banyan tree. He had no children and his wife had passed away many years ago. But still, he never complained. He would sit under the tree, talk to people, and always smile. The people of this village were hardworking. Some were farmers, some were carpenters, and some worked in the small market. Sometimes it wouldn't rain and the crops would dry up. Sometimes people would fall sick and couldn't go to work. Life was not easy, and the villagers were often sad or worried. One day, a young woman named Sumaira came to him. Sumaira was crying, her face full of worry. She said, "I don't know what to do. My husband went to the city in search of work, but he hasn't sent any money. My children are hungry and I am afraid." The old man looked at Sumaira and smiled softly. "Sit down, my child," he said. "Tell me, what do you think is going to happen?" Sumaira wiped her tears and said, "I don't know. I feel like something bad will happen. What if my husband doesn't find work? What if he forgets us?" The old man gently shook his head. "Sumaira, when we think bad thoughts, we feel worse. But if we think good thoughts, we feel better, and sometimes good things happen." Sumaira asked, "But how can I think good thoughts when everything is so bad?" He smiled again and said, "I will tell you a story." Sumaira looked at him with curiosity. The old man began. Once upon a time, there was a poor man who had nothing. He had no food, no money, no family. He was sitting by the river, crying. An old woman came to him and asked, "Why are you crying?" The man said, "I have nothing. How can I be happy?" The old woman smiled and said, "You have the river, you have the trees, you have the sun. Look around you. There is beauty and life everywhere. If you think about what you don't have, you will always be sad. But if you think about what you do have, you will find peace." The man listened and slowly he stopped crying. He started to see the good things around him, and from that day, his life began to change. The old man looked at Sumaira and said, "You see, my dear, the man's life didn't change because of magic. It changed because he changed his thinking. When we think positively, our heart becomes light and we can face problems better." Sumaira asked, "Will my thinking really change my life?" He smiled gently and said, "Yes. If you wake up every morning and say to yourself, 'Today will be a good day,' you will get the strength to work, take care of your children, and wait for your husband with hope. But if you only think about what might go wrong, you will feel sad and weak." Sumaira nodded slowly and said, "I understand. I will try to think good thoughts from today." "That is the first step, my child," he said. Sumaira left the old man's house with a lighter heart. Every day she remembered his words. She would wake up and say to herself, "Today will be a good day." She worked hard, took care of her children, and prayed for her husband's return. A few weeks later, Sumaira received a letter from her husband. He had found a job in the city and was sending money home. Sumaira was overjoyed. She ran to the old man's house to tell him the news. The old man smiled and nodded. "You see, my dear, when we think positively, we invite good things into our lives. Problems will always come, but if we face them with a hopeful heart, we can overcome them. Soon other villagers also started hearing about the old man's wise words. Many came to him and told him their troubles. The old man gave everyone the same advice: think good thoughts and good will come. The villagers began to love him even more because his words had changed their lives. He had taught them the power of positive thinking. If you liked this story, please remember that we need your support to bring you more such stories, scripts, and informational content. If this were a video, please like it and subscribe to the channel so that we can be encouraged and you can continue to benefit from such content in the future. Thank you.